Hello, I'm Paul McKeever, and this is my new guitar pedalboard build. So of late, I've been watching a lot of guitar pedal related YouTube videos. In particular, I've been enjoying Anderton's videos, the ones on, guitar pedals. Josh over at JHS Pedals is extremely informative, his channel, and I've been looking at his stuff a lot and learning a lot about circuitry and the different kinds of fuzz pedals and delays and etc. The guy is a wealth of information. And I decided that for the first time in my life, I was going to build a pedal board. And so having now researched this and driven my wife crazy for about 3 months watching all of these videos in the living room, I made some purchases yesterday. I went and did a belated birthday search for pedals and got what I think will be at least a nice start on a pedal board. I haven't decided on the board itself yet, but the pedals, I've got about 4 or 5 of them in the room right over here. And what I'm going to do is release them, I'm going to unbox them one at a time, and then once I've got the pedal board, I'll assemble it, and we'll see how it works. I've never assembled one before, so who knows? Hopefully I won't electrocute myself. All right, so let's just talk a little bit about the pedals and why I picked the ones I did. Again, watching Josh on JHS, he has a video there, but I think it's called The History of Fuzz or Picking a Fuzz 101, something like that. And he talks about 2 transistor, 3 transistor, and 4 transistor fuzzes. And he talks about how there was, one of the biggest changes in the guitar world was the introduction of the fuzz face out of Britain. That was a round-shaped pedal that looked like a face, and it gives this nice gnarly fuzz sound, like an exaggerated distortion. Followed, I think, or at least simultaneously in Britain, by another pedal called the Tone Bender. And an interesting story came out of that. There was a Mark II, or a second version of the Tone Bender, and I think it was in 1990 or thereabouts, Josh was saying, someone discovered that inside there, what they thought was a Tone Bender version 2, was a circuit that looked like the fuzz face. So they refer to that pedal as Tone Bender 1.5. Now, recently I found that there is a pedal maker, Ramble Effects, out of the United States, who has a what they call a twin bender. So you can go between fuzz face, which is the 1.5 twin bender, or the Mark II of the Tone Bender. So it's 2 pedals in one. And I thought, I'll look into the quality of the build and etc. Watched a few videos, and I'm pretty impressed with how it looks. Haven't tried it out yet. Haven't tried any of these pedals out yet. They're all in the box. They haven't been removed from the box. And but that's pedal number 1, and it'll probably go at the very beginning of my chain because, as Josh from GHS says, fuzz pedals want to be in direct connection with the guitar. They want to be the first thing that is touched by the guitar signal. All right, so we've got this fuzz tone. I'm not always going to use it, but I would use it if I were playing, for example, a guitar solo like the one in Time by Pink Floyd. What if you don't need, for example, the big fuzz tone, thing in there? Maybe you just want sort of a more natural amp sound, maybe just some overdrive. Well, I was looking into various kinds of overdrive, and again, Josh from JHS comes in really handy. He introduces about 4 or 5 different types and how they differ from one another. But the one I ended up being sold on was a Klon clone. The Klon apparently is unique. It's a hard clipping circuit, but it combines that hard clipped sound with a bit of the clean sound as well. And when you're turning up I think it's the gain on the Klon, you're also turning up the clean volume on the guitar. Might have that wrong. Watch Josh's video, but it sounds great. So then I did a little bit of research into, okay, apparently there are many clones of the Klon, and I'm not interested in buying a $5,000 or $10,000 exact Klon. That's what they're going for on Reverb right now, and that's for collectors. I don't want a pedal for a collector. I just want a pedal that sounds good, and I like the sound of the Klon. So there was a 10-pedal shootout with Danish Pete on Anderton's, which was just, well, first of all, funny, but really informative. And as Pete went through in this sort of blindfold challenge, saying, I like this one, I like that one. His task was to find out which of the pedals he was hearing was the actual Klon, and he got it pretty close. He ended up with the Tumnus by Wampler being number 1, but he got the clon, the real clon, the authentic item as the B, or the second place. The third place was the one I ended up purchasing. It was one that Josh on JHS had said as well that he liked most in terms of these clones of the clon. And that was the Way Huge Conspiracy Theory. So I purchased one of those for overdrive purposes. What else? What else do we need? Well, it seemed to me that one of the things I've always loved, when I was a kid, I was about 12, maybe 13 years old, and a friend of mine had an older brother with a reel-to-reel recording deck, and we started doing some home recordings, and I recorded a double track, 2 guitar tracks recording. It was just I think it was a D minor, and I just sort of, plinked away at it, but I had a tune that I was playing on it. No vocals, no drums, no bass, no nothing, just a guitar. And I said, and I don't know if I did this by accident or how this happened, but I said, let's double track it, but I just detuned it ever so slightly, the guitar. I mean, really slightly. And I re-recorded the exact same, what I'd been playing before. And the result was this huge wailing sound. In other words, what used to be a relatively narrow, just a regular guitar sound that you would hear through an amplifier became this much bigger sound. More recently, I was watching a documentary on ZZ Top, and I think it was in their Tres Hombres album. They had a producer, or the guy who was funding their whole, recording, was absolutely against this 3-piece band double tracking the guitar. So they tricked him into going to get some lunch an hour out of town. And in the interim, they used that time to double track. I think they were doing Lagrange. And there's this one part in particular in the guitar solo Lagrange where you can really hear this doubled guitar. It's like bling, 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 bling. You'll hear it, and it's just this huge sound as compared to how the guitar sounds earlier in the track. So when the producer or the engineer for that recording was talking in the documentary, he was saying that, they send the money man off to get the sandwiches, and he slightly detunes Billy Gibbons' guitar and does the double track. And I thought, oh my God, that's the exact same thing I did when I was a kid. I don't know if I read about it when I was a kid and I just forgot about it, but incredible. Well, I always wondered, is there a pedal that can allow you to play one track, play your guitar, and just detune it for you? And there's lots of pedals out there I saw that do double tracking. So they simulate 2 guitars being played simultaneously on a track, but they're not quite doing what I was hoping they would do. They would do things like make little errors, maybe there's timing errors so that you don't hit the strings at the same time, whatever. That wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for that micro detuning that you hear in Lagrange and that I used on that little recording that's probably in a drawer somewhere at my mom and dad's place. Anyway, I did a bit of research, and I had no idea, having only really listened to Van Halen until about 1984. I didn't really buy any of the Sammy Hagar-led ones, the albums, but I have heard some of those songs. And of course, Eddie Van Halen has his great big guitar sound. And so I was looking around for a pedal just the other day that would do this detuning I'm talking about. So you have one dry signal and then a slightly detuned one, and it creates a big sound. And Pete Thorne, who's got another excellent channel, and he really knows how to describe pedals and equipment in a way that's entertaining and useful. And he introduced this Eventide micro detuning, or micro delay, I think they call it. And as soon as he started playing it, I thought, that's Eddie Van Halen. That's the sound of Eddie Van Halen. Now he had the distortion. I don't know if he's playing it through a Marshall or some kind of loop, effects loop, or what he's doing there to set it all up. But he's got that very distorted Eddie Van Halen sound when Pete Thorne's playing in this video, and he has this Eventide effect on there, and I thought, my God, that is so much of the Eddie Van Halen sound. Gotta get it. So that was pedal number 2, the Eventide. It just came out apparently in 2021, so fortunate. I guess before that, when Eddie Van Halen was using them, they were rack-mounted effects. So next up, I thought, okay, well, what would I like in terms of having, echo? For example, Eddie Van Halen had that echo going in the background, and he had a plate reverb going in the studio, and so I wanted to have that tape echo sound, but I don't want to buy a tape echo. They're notoriously prone to breaking down and whatnot, and they're old technology. And there are lots of pedal companies that are reproducing the sound of authentic tape echo. And sometimes they'll provide other options as well. Like you can have the tape echo where you flip a switch and now you've got what they call bucket Brigade, which is a series of, I think it was transistors, or again, see Josh's history of the delay pedal. But the bucket Brigade, it's for shorter echoes. And then there's the newer idea, which is just the straight echo, electronic echo. All it does is reproduce the signal faithfully over and over and over again, usually fading it off. Well, so it came down to two pedals that I wanted to look at. One was the Strymon Timeline. What was really nice about that, apparently, is that it's MIDI controlled. So if you wanted to have a whole bunch of different settings of the Strymon Timeline remembered, so you can just click a button and say, okay, now I'm playing, Eruption. Now I'm playing some country song. Now you want different echo sounds. You could do that with the Strymon Timeline. But I also really got sucked into the UA Effects brand new pedal. The Timeline's I think it's about 10 years old, but the Universal Audio UA company has come out with a time pedal that I think, or delay pedal, that's supposed to be a challenger to the Strymon. At least it has many of the same features. It gives you the ability to do tape echo, the ability to do the bucket Brigade, and then the digital echo. And it's called the Starlight Echo Station. And so between the Strymon and the Starlight, I thought, well, look, I'm not going to be on stage trying to remember 100 different U2 settings. I'm going to be just playing this for my own pleasure, so I'm going to get the Starlight. And so I went that way. And then finally I said, okay, well, what about reverb? I want to have a nice reverb. Sure, I've got reverb on my son has a Fender amp with a nice reverb on it, but I wanted to play around with the broader range of the types of reverb, spring and plate and etc. And so again, as part of this suite of 3 pedals that came out from UA this last year, one of them was called the Golden Reverb, and it just sounds so sweet. So that's what won the day. So those are the pedals. There might be additions. I probably will want to put a 10-band equalizer on there, so I can fiddle with the sound a bit. But for now, this will keep me more than occupied. The manuals on some of these things are yay thick, because they're just so flexible. They can do so many things. So that's what I'm going to put together on a board. Well, I haven't decided on which board yet. I'll leave some room for other pedals. And I'm going to start this video series by doing unboxings of each of the pedals. Kind of fun, hopefully short, but to see what kind of candy you get in the box, and I'll have the box. All right, so tune in for episode 2, and I will unbox. I think we'll start with the first one I bought, which was the Twin Bender. See you soon.